Hello, wonderful people. Welcome to the Wives Roundtable show. This is the show for the Nigerian woman. My name is Amaka Chibuzo-Obi. Today on the Wives Roundtable show, we're going to be discussing a topic that I absolutely love. We're going to be talking about love. Yes, I love love a lot. And today we're going to be looking at love in spite of disabilities. Yes, we know that so many people out there may be in love with certain people, but because of certain things, they don't go ahead with that love. I don't know how I feel about that, because I know that love should actually be promoted and nurtured wherever you find it. And the person I have with me today is testament to the fact that you can actually nurture love in spite of the person's disability. You know that at Wives Roundtable, we're fully committed to helping women make better decisions for their lives, and this is what we want to do today on the show. So we want to bring the facts out. We want to bring all the resources and tools that may be needed to help you build a really thriving, loving relationship, even if the object of your love is someone that is with a disability. That's exactly what we're going to be doing today on the show. So guys, if you love love like me, then you need to stick around for today's edition of the Wives Roundtable show. The person I have with me, I call her a hero because she is doing amazingly well in her life and also supporting her husband who lives with a disability. So guys, you really want to be in for today's edition of the show. Don't go anywhere, because Wives Roundtable will return right after this quick break, but not before I remind you to go join our community on social media, most especially Instagram. Go join us right now at Wives Roundtable. I would absolutely love to have you. We'll return right after this. Welcome back. This, of course, is the Wives Roundtable show, and my name is Amaka Chibuzo-Obi, the one and only. Every other is a counterfeit. Today on the show, I'm going to be talking about a topic that is so dear to my heart. When I talk about love, I just blush in so many ways because I absolutely love love. Today, we're going to be discussing love in spite of disabilities, and the person I have with me is no other than the one and only amazing Emmanuella. Babe, welcome to Wives Roundtable
Hi,
show.
good to be here.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Amaka.
When I went through your Instagram page, I saw a place where you were you did a video, you know, when Simi's video was trending,
Okay.
you know, where people talk about different things about women and things like that, and you were like, she got married to a blind man so that they would, you know, talk about how, so that she will ride on her husband and make a name for herself and things like that. That's obviously some of the things that you've heard people say about you and your relationship with your husband.
Yes.
By the way, she's married to a visually challenged man who is absolutely doing amazingly well. So no pity party here. But you know, it's not something that a lot of people can do. So I want to hear your story.
Okay.
Why did you decide to get married to somebody who you know is blind? Because it wasn't like he got blind after marriage.
Yeah.
He was blind before you met him.
Yes.
And you still went ahead with the relationship.
Okay.
Why?
Okay. Why I decided to get married to him, in spite of the fact that he's visually impaired, that was about 13 years ago. And basically, in one sentence, I decided to get married to him because I felt that we could complement ourselves. So there are a lot of things we could do together. And I was very comfortable in his company. We could communicate. As at that time when we were dating. So there's this peace that I felt being around him. So that was when I actually went in. I decided that, well, I'm going to go for it. I'll get married to him because I found peace around him. But looking at it also, when we met, it wasn't like it was on a bed of roses. Yeah,
No.
it was quite tough. Then, as a young girl, I didn't get, no, another myth people believe is when you're getting married to a person with disability, or maybe she didn't even find a husband, or maybe she was getting too old.
Or maybe she comes from a very poor home and the person is absolutely rich. So you want to get married to him to cover your
security,
poverty.
you know, that kind of. So a lot of the myths got broken. I was only 22 years old. I wasn't even. I don't think I started coming out to church to say social prayer for people who are planning to get married. So marriage was not even the big deal for me then. So then I was in school. I was working. I was going back to school. So, and it wasn't like he was actually very rich then. So we started from the scratch. But practically we started from our sitting room had only a bed. So that's how it started. So it wasn't like he was rich. He resigned from his job a year to our wedding. So he started his business and it was very rough and it was very tough. So we started basically from scratch. But it's actually the peace that I had. And with that peace, we were able to build our life together from the scratch. In fact, looking back, I didn't know I didn't actually take the picture of how we started. Maybe because now when people see me, they'll be like, oh, she's doing so well. Oh, okay, maybe our husband had some things extra. But there's nothing wrong in actually being married to somebody who is rich, please. We
have to establish that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong in that. It's okay. It's okay because you don't have to go through all of us don't have to go through the tough times. But at times when these things happen, I just want to tell you that in case it's happening to you right now, there's a possibility that things can actually get better.
Absolutely.
That's just it. Consistency is very important.
Your why was that peace that you got.
Yeah.
Now, I know that the person involved, in this case, you, it's not just your opinion that could have counted at that time.
No.
Do you understand? I have peace. He makes me happy. I am very comfortable around him. Your mother and your father and your siblings are not hearing that English that you're speaking. Do you understand? Your friends are looking at you like, did they not fall off that we did not seek her? Where can we pick the nuts that has fallen off from her brain? So there's so many people that would not have felt the same peace that you were feeling with this decision.
Yeah.
So please tell me, how were you able to surmount the kind of obstacles I know would have come out?
Okay, now. So my story now, I am the only child of my mom.
Okay.
So I had a few family members to explain to. So I didn't come from this close-knit family. In my family, you're your own. My mom is the only person I have to explain anything to.
Okay.
Because that's the only person that's responsible for me throughout. So she brought me up as a single parent.
Okay.
So then for friends, I also have a small circle of friends. And I would say 99.9% of them are male. So you know they are more logical.
Yeah.
So there are a few sentiments around me. So for my mom, the major issue my mom had at the beginning, apart from the blindness, because another thing again I tell people, it's marketing. The way I presented my husband, my boyfriend then.
Is his market?
It wasn't. It's not the same. I didn't come up with my mom like, there's this blind man that I met, and he's trying to marry me. I don't even know what to say. No.
How did you market him?
Thank God for extra cool then. So we always talking. So like, okay, who is this your friend? Oh, he does this and that and that. Mommy has said, wow.
Like
that kind of, that's interesting, As I'm telling you about him, we're not liking him.
I absolutely was loving him.
So that was it actually. It wasn't deliberate, but that's just me. I like to project things. Okay, this is it.
Project the positives.
So mommy was like, okay, so when am I going to see this person? You say you're getting married to somebody. I hope it's not somebody we get married to today and tomorrow you tell me I'm not doing it again, because I don't have space in my house. I need to see him. Because then he wasn't coming to my house. Then a day to the Christmas, he came that year. And my mom saw him and they gisted and he liked him. But he had an issue. She had an issue. He wasn't going to church.
Okay.
So blindness was not the issue now. Because as far as she was concerned, she believes that at least he can earn a living. Our child is comfortable. And she had a past experience with parents telling her, don't get married to this. So she believed that has actually affected. So I think that was working
In
well
your
for me,
favor.
working in my favor, because those experiences have made her more conscious that, okay, I want her to do
more open-minded. Let me just leave her. Is she okay? That's the most important thing.
But now the issue now is he's not going to church. So when she came up with that, I was like, okay, yes, he's not going to church, but why is he not going to church? I said, okay, imagine you go to church and after service and you tell Sister Maka, please, can you see me off to the bus? I want to take a bike. And Sister Maka dodges you and leaves. So you have to find your way out of the church, find who can help you. Next time, we want to go to church again. So that's why a lot of times you don't find persons who are visually impaired in church. It's not because they don't want to go to church, but because church members are not receptive. Heaven is for all of us, but the church is telling you, if you're on wheelchair, don't come because there's staircase. If you are blind, don't come because the church service is not accessible. So he worships at home. At that time, he had about 14 blind people who were living with him. He was running a band that was providing entertaining services for persons in parties and all that. 14 blind persons was living in a 3-bedroom flat with him. He wasn't going to church. So that was, I explained that to her. It was like, just exactly the way you did. And she was like, okay.
The way I did. Because
she was like,
you know, let's go for a quick break. When we come back, let me say this thing that I want to say, because the truth is easy for most of us to just sit in a bubble and just judge or project.
Exactly.
But there are lots of things that we don't understand, except we're having this kind of conversations.
Exactly.
Because as you were talking now, I'm just thinking about it, and honestly, it's the truth. There are lots of places where we unconsciously segregate without meaning to. We cut these people living with disabilities off, and then we're surprised when they don't do certain things. We're wondering why are they not doing this. But we forget that we have not been as open or as receptive as we too ought to be. We'll discuss much more after this short break, so don't go anywhere. You're still on the Wives Roundtable show, and we're discussing love in spite of disabilities. I have with me Emmanuella. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still on the Wives Roundtable show, and so far this conversation with Emmanuella has really been eye-opening. Honestly, there's so many things about people living with disabilities that we don't really think about. We just say, oh, life is for everyone, everything is for everyone, but we unconsciously have a bias already by the way we do things in the society, and this bias affects these people who live with disabilities. And then when we see somebody like Emmanuella who has decided to, go in full force in spite of all of these challenges, we still have something to say, even when we're not as accommodating as we're supposed to be. So please, Emmanuella, as you were talking, I was just thinking about it, and everything you said is true. And I understood your mom's sentiment. He doesn't go to church, so maybe this person is a devil and I want to come and marry my child. But I love the fact that you actually went beyond the actual action to ask the why. And I know it must have come up in conversations with him, and he brought all of these things up. So now it's no longer an issue of he doesn't go to church. It's now an issue of how do we help him, go to church and all of these things. Now, my question to you is, if somebody comes up to you now and says, I have a fiancé or somebody that I really love, he's disabled, maybe he's in a wheelchair, or he's blind, or he's deaf, or, whatever form of disability, but I really love him because he gives me peace. I could relate with the peace you were talking about. But my family and everybody is against it. How would you counsel such a person?
Okay, first thing, I'm not going to cut and paste my journey to that person's journey, because we live in different peculiarities and different realities. So now, depending on the family is not accepting. We had cases of, at times you have to wait.
Okay.
Yeah, at times you have to wait, and for them to get to accept it. You might not know how long you wait, but at times you might have to wait. But at times, it depends on the situation again. At times, I've seen people who went into it in spite of that. So, but knowing that marriage itself,
it's not just about the two people.
Yeah,
it's
to me, when people say it's just
not
two
just
of us,
about the
at the end of the day, you need support of family members and friends to be able to make this thing work out well. So, especially when there are complications. So, but I've seen people who have gone out in spite of that. And at the end of the day, in the middle, the family said, okay, what we're even afraid of. Because the major fear people have is, can you take care of my child? If it's a lady who is visually impaired, can she manage the home?
The home. Yes.
So you see that they've gotten married, they have the first child is 2 years old, the second child, what is your problem again? It's proven now. So a lot of the same parents now, they won't come for the first child's naming ceremony, but the second one
they will now show up.
So it's true. They show up.
Now they understand that, oh well, these people are actually
exactly
thriving.
In some cases, I've seen cases where they just broke up. They're like, okay, I'm sorry, I love you so much, but I can't continue this because I'm so close-knit with my family and I can't do this alone with you. So that depends on the maturity of both sides. So there are some cases, so there's no one cap fits it all situation. Mine, I would say mine is easier because I have less people to explain to. So, but for people who your uncle was part of your life, your grandfather, your everybody, you need to explain to all of them. You understand? So it's not the same issue. But I will tell the person, so both of them have to be sincere with them. At the end of the day, it comes back to both of them. They have to be sincere because it's a lonely journey. It's a journey that if anything happens to you, there are very few people you can explain to be realistic. Honestly. I can't come and tell you, Amaka, you're my friend. You saw me getting married to this guy and I told you I love him, I had peace, Abi. Then I have issues, maybe tomorrow. Because the fact that I love him and he's visually impaired doesn't mean that he might not cheat on me. Doesn't mean that he's also a human being. He might also he's a saint. Thank you. He's not a saint though. He's only blind though.
He still has his own issues.
Thank you.
That regular human beings have. You know that every other person has. I might not be able to come to you to tell you these things because in your mind you'll be like, Talon, who sent you? You know that kind of a thing. So who sent you? So it could be a lonely journey. So that's why a lot of times I'm very much interested in people who are getting, I see a lot of young girls, we have weddings, we've been having weddings since this year. You want people getting married to visually impaired people because I'm interested in supporting them because I know that at the point when I got married then, I didn't have anybody to talk to. There are times I was confused. Yes, I was actually confused at the point. I thought I was very young. Yes. So the good thing that worked out for me was also that he is matured. He's about 60 years older than I am. Whoa!
So he is actually matured. So that actually, and is like, so if somebody, is my husband, but it's also somebody I can confide in, like my daddy. I talk to him, I tell him everything. So at times when I go out and people kind of, I've been mocked or you've been talked down at, I come back and I tell him. Because he's the only person I can tell. I can't go and tell my friend in school. Because he can't understand. But he's the one that tells me why that person did what he did and why I shouldn't, things like that. And as I getting energy, as I keep growing. So it's a rapport we have actually that has strengthened me
in that relationship. Yeah.
So, but if both of them don't have a rapport and they are not close, they can't communicate intimately, they're going to have issues.
There's a problem. There's a serious problem.
Because there are very few people you can talk to.
Now, as you're talking about it, it sounds so romantic. Sometimes we'll be reading novels and then they'll say the person was visually impaired, but I still went ahead because my heart was exploding with love. And all of us were just awing, and it's so romantic, That's the real life. So please tell us, what are some of the challenges? I know there were many of them, but what are some that, could come up?
Poverty was the first challenge we had. Poverty.
Disability
and poverty, it's traumatic. So if you were richer, you won't feel the disability as bad as when we got married. Okay, when I had my first daughter, I had to back my daughter. I would go to computer village, you carry this. I was like that. So you hold your husband, you are backing your baby, you are sweating, then you get home, you have to do this, you have to do that. No, how about life? How about turn it the other way? Now you have a car, you have a driver. Disability is reduced. So poverty was the first thing. Yes, poverty is the first thing that we had to fight. That was the first challenge I had. So I had to learn to manage. I still have to keep it. Still have to manage. So when we think they're getting better, that we could afford to get a car, we could afford to live in a better environment and all that, things were easier.
Okay.
Yeah, things were easier. So that's another challenge. Another issue again is how people see you. They just want to relate to people as friends, and somebody is already judging you. Once they say this is my husband, and the person is only like, oh, I hope you're taking care of him, Sha. I hope you're not. This guy just came to exploit this guy. He wants to be the one managing his funds. And they're telling it to your face, actually. It's not like they're hiding it. So you want to be the one. So they will not give you something. Give it to your husband, though. Make sure that you don't, not that. And they're telling you,
cheat him, oh.
Yes. God bless you.
Don't cheat him,
Don't cheat him, oh. So can't I just be a normal wife? So as some people come again with pity, those conceptions, you see me, oh, you see my husband, like, hey, yeah, you are trying, you know. You are trying, you know. You know that kind of a thing. So these things, because I don't know if it affects your relationship. So at a point in my life, in my 20s, if I meet a person, I'm not sure how the person is seeing me. So I'm not very relaxed because I just want to talk to you, but you're already putting all kinds of conceptions around me. Those are another challenge I had as a person. Then another issue again is the fact that there's this misconception people also have that when you're married to a person with disability, the family automatically takes you like an egg.
Yes, because thank God we now have somebody to come and save our
Hallelujah.
child.
So you know that the truth is that it's a myth. It now depends on who are the people in the family.
In the family.
Can expect anything.
Yeah,
just expect anything. So those are the kind of issues that you're likely to come across.
Wow. Guys, ladies, everyone on this particular show today, I need you. I mean, if you're in a relationship where you absolutely love somebody and the person has one disability or the other, then I absolutely would encourage you. I would highly recommend that you speak to Emmanuella, because the truth is she has lived this for over a decade, 13 years and counting. She has gone through so much already. She knows a lot of, I know it's a journey, like it's not something that you can know everything in it, but she knows to a certain extent. So I would suggest that you speak to her, just hear from her, get her counsel, and then make your decision. Because like she said, people living with disabilities are still human beings. They still have their flaws, they still have their strengths like every other person. Don't put them on a pedestal and say, okay, because they're living with a disability, they're a saint, so maybe if I get married to them, I won't have any issues in my life. That's a myth, like she rightly said. So speak to her, search yourself, and make sure that whatever decision you're making is because you want to make it and not because you want to prove a point to somebody. But one thing I know is that love can actually trump whatever is a form of obstacle in its path. As long as there is love, there is understanding, there is a form of, great communication between the two parties involved, then that marriage can actually really work. So, Emmanuella, I wish you and your heartthrob the very best. People are doing amazingly well.
Thank you.
May God continue to sustain you too.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with something else right after this break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We're now on to something else, our Anything Can Happen segment of the Wives Roundtable show. And in this segment, I will be asking Emmanuella this riddle. What two things can you never eat for breakfast? Or can you never have for breakfast?
What two things?
What two things can you never have for breakfast?
Eba. Even though I like it a lot, but it's for breakfast.
Eba that I kept eating for breakfast in the village.
It kills my head, my brain. I can't
think. You can have it because I had it for years as breakfast. So that's it. Definitely not it.
Okay.
Let me help you because you're not going to get it. I just know because you're thinking of food.
Okay. Oh, that's food.
The two things you can never have for breakfast is lunch and dinner.
Oh, God.
I said riddle. You were thinking of question, regular question.
My God. This is how
you were thinking of food.
Oh, there's no price attached to it. If not, I need another riddle so that my head can.
The two things you can never have for breakfast is lunch and dinner. Because once you eat lunch, it's no longer breakfast.
But was supposed to be lunch now.
No, like I told you, I ate eba for breakfast for so many years, so it's not eba. So guys, on that note, we come to the end of the Wives Roundtable show for today. I hope you had fun with us right here on the show, because I absolutely did. Emmanuella was such a fun person to talk to. My name is Amaka Chibuzo-Obi, and I'll be here same time, same station next week. So please make it a date with me. Please don't also forget to go join our community on Instagram. We are at Wives Roundtable. Please find us, join us, follow us, do all the things that I know that you can do to be a part of our community. Until I come your way next week, love everyone around you, but most importantly, love yourself, because you can't give what you don't have. Take care, friends. Bye for now.